What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. And hold on, let me put some light on. All right, guys, it's JT Sports. Um, no, we don't got the best quality, but we were having technical difficulties with the thing that I was trying to use. I guess my laptop can't handle it, but still had a call-in show. You guys can still call in. No, the quality's not great, but I mean, it's better than nothing. So I'm about to type the number for you guys to call in. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl contenders for the 2019 NFL season. Now, I know this isn't the best quality, but I mean, I rather I rather be able to live stream until I'm able to get a camera and somehow fix my laptop situation. But yeah, the other program I was using, I guess my laptop couldn't handle it. So I'm about to give you guys a number to call in so we can go ahead and talk about our Super Bowl contenders. So top tier ask, what up though? What's up, Micro Mike? What's up, everybody? I'm sorry it's late, man. I've spent two freaking hours trying to figure out how to get the thing right, and it wouldn't even. Darn, I missed most of this. Bro, you didn't miss anything, man. You didn't miss anything. Okay, so I'm about to type the number down in the comment section so you guys can go ahead and call this number and call in. I'm sorry, guys. It is ugly, but I'll try to get a camera. But is what we're going to have to work with, unless we have people giving up like $1 million and stuff like what they be doing on Twitch. Sorry, but I mean, at least you guys can call in. That's the good thing about it. The super chat is on if you guys want to donate to the channel. Number is 843-507-0052. So top tier asks, who are my contenders? All right. So here are my Super Bowl contenders in no order. I know the camera is ugly, but we got to get over it. We got to get over it. Can't have it all. So here's my Super Bowl contenders: Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, Atlanta Falcons, LA Rams, and the New Orleans Saints. Five Super Bowl contenders for the NFC. AFC, we got the New England Patriots, we got the LA Chargers, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm gonna throw in the Cleveland Browns. I'm gonna throw in the Cleveland Browns. So you guys can go ahead, call in. Number is 843-507-0052. If you guys want to call in to the show and comment who you guys think are Super Bowl contenders. And even then we just it doesn't just have to be about oh, somebody's calling right now. Hello, welcome to JT Sports. Who's on the line? Oh, what's up, Micro Mike?
Hey man, just enjoying your live chat and thought it'd be a good time to call in and talk about Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, let's do it, man. Let's do it. You know, we got a little ghetto live stream going on, but I'm happy. Can everybody hear Michael Mike? Yeah, everybody can hear him. Thanks for coming on, man. And you guys make sure to go check out Michael Mike. This man does incredible Detroit Lions breakdowns and everything. I've been thinking about getting him on, but I just been so busy. But we're gonna find a way to get him on sometime this week.
Yeah, man, that'd be really cool for sure. I think it'd be fun to have an individual that doesn't just cover one team, but many teams, give a fresh look on my team, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, we could do a joint live stream if I find out how to do hangouts. I know I can definitely do that at least.
Oh, for sure, yeah, we can figure it out, man. I got plenty of time this week. Hopefully, I don't have to work a bunch of overtime, and that'd be awesome. I think for your subscribers as well as mine.
Yeah, yeah. So who's your contenders?
Oh man, for the AFC, San Diego Chargers really got me nervous. I think they're going to be a powerhouse team, very underrated. Their defense is high speed quality, and I think with Philip Rivers entering his age to where he may not have another chance, I think they're going to go all in this year to at least get to the championship.
Okay, okay. My guy top tier said, "Tell Mike I said Happy Father's Day and Happy Father's Day to you."
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. All you guys, every father out there, happy Father's Day. And nothing like Father's Day talking with JT Sports on football talk.
Yeah, yeah. So here's my thing about the LA Chargers. They can compete. They are Super Bowl contenders. But in the AFC, it's just hard for me to see anybody really dethroning the Patriots because the Patriots they're the only team in NFL history to win the Super Bowl, lose two of their best players on both sides of the ball. They lost Rob Gronkowski and they lost Trey Flowers, who was their best pass rusher. And we know the New England Patriots, they don't really have a lot of game changing elite pass rushers like that. So that was a big loss. And the fact that they ended up losing those two key guys on both sides of the ball, and they still end up being a better team than what they were before. I just can't see nobody beating them in the AFC. I mean, I know it's teams that can come close. A lot of people, I said the Chargers had the best chance, but a lot of people told me that my Steelers had the best chance, which although we are still very talented, but I just don't trust Mike Tomlin in certain situations like that. But I would probably go ahead and agree with you if we're going for teams that could compete with the New England Patriots. They are a Super Bowl contender. It's just that I just can't see nobody really out coaching Bill Belichick. But the LA Chargers, they do have a very good coaching staff. One thing that I like about their coaching staff, I thought their head coach Anthony Lynn should have been a candidate for head coach of the year last season because the LA Chargers and his staff made excellent adjustments against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were down at halftime, ended up rallying from behind, winning that game, even though it's a bunch of on-call false starting and holding penalties, but we're not going to get into that. And then against the Kansas City Chiefs, they ended up winning that one from behind as well after halftime. So their coaching staff makes excellent adjustments. And I think they most definitely are a Super Bowl contender, but I just can't see them beating the New England Patriots.
For sure, man. New England Patriots is the end all be all team. I mean, they've done it year after year. As long as I've been alive, they've been the dynasty that rules it all. And obviously, they're a favorite as well to go to the Super Bowl. I think there's a couple teams. You got Kansas City and San Diego. That'll be fun to watch in their division as they're both dominant teams. The Patriots are obviously dominant. So I think the AFC is stacked heavy with some really good teams. Even your Steelers, I think they got rid of the cancers that was on the team, Antonio Brown as well as Bell. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Roethlisberger always has the ability to make clutch plays, and Mike Tomlin's a very good coach. So it will be fun to watch AFC this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, and a lot of people keep on talking about us losing Antonio Brown. Okay, I get it, it's a loss, but while people still bring up Le'Veon Bell, we went a whole season without Le'Veon Bell, and James Conner, his replacement, ended up being a Pro Bowler, and Jalen Samuels against the New England Patriots ended up having 142 rushing yards. So, I mean, it just goes to show how good our offensive line is. It's not all Le'Veon Bell and teams. I think a big part of football is being able to have that next man up philosophy, not just football, but in sports in general. When you lose a player, you got to have that mentality. Despite how good he is, he can be replaced, and that's what separates the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots from the rest of the teams in the NFL. I'm not saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers are mildly successful, but I'm just saying that over the last decade, the Pittsburgh Steelers have only missed the playoffs twice, and the New England Patriots have only missed the playoff once. And it's other teams in the NFC that have that same similar mindset. You got teams like the Green Bay Packers. They got that next man up philosophy, and you got teams like the New York Giants. New York Giants fans, they start crying when Odell Beckham gets traded away. But people fail to realize that no team has won the Super Bowl since 2006 that has actually had a top five running back and a top five wide receiver on the same team. And the last team that won the Super Bowl that had a top five wide receiver was the Indianapolis Colts back in 2006. They had Marvin Harrison, and that was pretty much it. So you don't have to have an elite halfback or elite wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. You just have to have a very good group of players that know how to do their job right and are coachable and a very good chemistry in the locker room.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I think another point for teams to take it to that next level is the great in depth that a team must have. Injuries are inevitable. I think if you have a team that has a really quality depth, they'll be able to jump over the hurdle of an injury and take it to the next level. You got to have a really good defense. And again, losing Antonio Brown or Bell does not mean they're going to completely suck or anything like that. In my opinion, it was good they got rid of them. And now they can focus on football instead of the distractions of Antonio Brown and Bell holding out. So it'll be fun. I mean, your team has always been a competitive team. And to say that they have no ability to go anywhere is unfounded.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get into the NFC because I saw a comment. Slob on my broccoli Rob said if Cam Newton, Greg Olsen, and Luke Kuechly can stay healthy, do you think the Panthers are Super Bowl contenders? Top tier said responded to that and he said, I can't see it, Slob. Top tier said James Conner was good, but not a Le'Veon Bell. The thing is that Le'Veon Bell in 2016, he was all pro, but we also had two all pros on our offensive line as well. And we also had three pro bowlers as well on that offensive line as well. And we also had a very talented offense. So the thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers or the thing about the NFL is that as long as you have a good offensive line, you pretty much are going to make it to the playoffs. You're guaranteed 90% of the time that you're going to make it to the playoffs. My Giants are going to surprise a lot of people. Actually, have a good culture for the first time since 2012. Pro Bowl is just a popularity contest. People was looking to see how Steelers' run game are going to be without Bell. Connor definitely played this part though. Odell's a B. NMD TV, stop it. Steelers won't be as good without Bell and AB. Here's how I respond to that before we get to the NFC, right? The Steelers, people talk about making it to the playoffs and stuff like that. The Steelers' goal isn't to make it to the playoffs. Our goal is to make it to the freaking Super Bowl. So for us Steelers fans, making it to the playoffs again, smacked by the New England Patriots, that's not a good season to us. Our season is compete for Super Bowls every single year. And when we got destroyed by the New England Patriots in 2016, one of the most talented teams probably in this decade. We had Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, everybody fully healthy. We went into Foxborough and got smacked. Smacked. I think they even put 40 on us, if I'm not mistaken. So here's my thing. We didn't win the Super Bowl with Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell, and now we have a new culture change. Now, the Steelers, we might not be as good, but we'll be better. We'll be able to win those games that we have no business losing. Thanks for the donation, MND TV. He just donated $2. Appreciate the live stream. So let's move to the NFC. The NFC is a lot tougher than wasn't Landry Jones starting. No, that was that regular season game. Landry Jones was starting he was starting in the regular season. Big Ben started in that playoff game, I believe. But yeah, so again, thanks for the contribution, NMD TV. Make sure to go check him out. Get him the 3,000. So, Michael Mike, we're in the NFC. The NFC is a lot more clouded than the AFC. Who are the contenders there? Because a lot of teams are really good. They're like the Western Conference of the NFL.
Oh yeah, man, the NFC is stacked as well. I think a team that I personally do not like the Dallas Cowboys as a team and an organization, but I think they have a legitimate shot to make some noise this year because their offensive line is quality. They do have a quarterback that's able to distribute the ball effectively, as well as a fantastic running back, and their defense is quite good. They got to retain the free agents they needed this year. So I think in their division, they have a good chance of winning that. Another division is our NFC North. I think the Chicago Bears are still going to be a good team. Probably not 12-4 like last year, but a team that is going to compete for the NFC North. Even my Lions, I think they're very underrated. A lot of people don't give a lot of credit. I think it's going to come down to who can take the North and who can take the East. I think that may come down to it, in my opinion. I truly think that the Cowboys have a good shot. And who knows? The Eagles as well. They can be good and they can suck at some point. But man, I really want my team, the Lions, to at least make the playoffs and compete for a championship. I think we have the ability to, but I don't know, man. I think it's going to come down to something like that.
Yeah, I had you guys at an 8-8 record. That NFC, the whole NFC is really tough. That NFC North division, probably one of the toughest divisions that's going to be, and all. It's probably going to be the toughest division in all of football this year because a lot of teams are really, really good. You got Green Bay; they're an interesting story. Even though they're an idiotic young head coach, I don't like the hiring. What innovative thing did he do at Tennessee other than run the ball into the dirt? And then how long did it take him to find out who was his true starting halfback? And then he didn't really do anything innovative, but Marcus Mariota was injured, but I'll give him that. But I mean, it's just nothing that really jumps off the board to me. But a thing that I'm really excited for, and Michael Mike, I don't know if you have heard this in a while, but I'm more excited for this Green Bay Packers defense now I am the Green Bay Packers offense. I like the acquisitions. And now Aaron Rodgers finally has a defense that he can rely on. Jaire Alexander, he was the second best rookie cornerback in the NFL last season behind Denzel Ward. At one point, they were neck and neck. And then they signed a couple of pass rushers in free agency. I like Rashawn Gary out of Michigan. I think a lot of people were giving him a little bit too much flack because of his production. But Jadeveon Clowney only had like 1.5 sack, 2.5 sacks his last year playing for South Carolina, and wasn't nobody talking about that at all. So I think Rashawn Gary is going to be pretty solid. And that's when you look at that secondary, they got Amos from Chicago. He might not be a Pro Bowler because he's not the flashiest guy, but I also like Josh Jackson as well. Now, Josh Jackson, he was up and down last season, but he's going to be interesting to look for. When I look into a team like Minnesota, of course they got all that talent. Even if they do end up trading somebody, they still have a lot of talent. The question is, can Kirk Cousins win those big games? That's been the Achilles heel of his. And can our offensive line actually block? And then when we get to the Chicago Bears, it's Mitchell Trubisky. Can Mitchell Trubisky be that quarterback and take that step up? Because this Chicago Bears success is really going to rely on how good Mitch Trubisky was because he had some good games, he had some bad games. So he has to be a lot more consistent this season if the Chicago Bears want to win. And also the Detroit Lions, I had them at 8-8, and they could make it to the playoffs as well. They could win 10 games. This division is really up for grabs. Anybody could really win a division. I think Detroit could win it. I think Minnesota could win it. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. And it's going to be really tough. All four teams are playoff teams, and the LA Rams, they're another team. I think the LA Rams might be one of the best teams in the NFC. But for me, it has to be the Dallas Cowboys because the Dallas Cowboys, they have the most complete roster in the NFC, in my opinion, head to toe. Also, the Philadelphia Eagles and Atlanta Falcons as well. But the Dallas Cowboys, they signed Randall Cobb in free agency. He's not he's not nobody who's going to jump off the charts, but he's solid. He gives Dak Prescott another weapon. They also have Tavon Austin, not a guy who lived up to his first round draft to his top 10 pick from a few years ago, but he's a solid slot wide receiver. Also can do things for special teams. Then you also got Michael Gallup, who was the Dallas Cowboys' best wide receiver until the arrival of Amari Cooper. So I think the Dallas Cowboys have a very good team. And then when you look at the offensive line, they're getting Travis Frederick back, so I think they could end up winning it. And the Atlanta Falcons, they're another team that I'm really high on because the Atlanta Falcons, people forget the Atlanta Falcons had the injury bug really, really bad. And now they were already a talented team. Then you let that talented team get a couple of good draft picks in. Now they're even better than what they were last year. So this Atlanta Falcons team, I think, can make a lot of noise.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Atlanta is very underrated as well. I mean, they're building that defense up. They still got Matt Ryan. They still got Julio Jones. And it wasn't that long ago where they made it to the Super Bowl. And they did lose, but I mean, they still have the talent around the team. So they're a team really to watch as well. Yeah, I'm with you with the Cowboys. I think that may be a dominant team when it comes to their division and in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers, I think it just rolls on if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy this year. He's been getting injured with breaking collarbones and other injuries. So I think if Aaron Rodgers is healthy the whole 16 games, I think they have a shot as well. I think they won't. I think he's inevitably going to get hurt just because of old age, nothing to do with anything really else. Um, so yeah, just like anything though, you lose your starting quarterback, or if you lose a significant player like a Khalil Mack, then that's going to really hurt your roster. So it's really exciting. It's going to be a fun season for me personally. I think this is one of the most exciting and profound seasons as being a fan because there's so much competition. There's so much equality when it comes to players on a team that it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Lucy Soto said the Packers may be one of the most improved teams. I agree with that. Top tier said long as the Lions offensive line holds up, they'll be in the mix. I agree. Trill One said Panthers are going to shock everybody. Trill One, if you want to call in, you can go ahead and call in. Just let somebody know. Unless if nobody wants to call in, then Michael Mike can keep on going. But I mean, the Panthers are going to shock every. Panthers fans hate me. Michael Mike, let me tell you, I did my Carolina Panthers prediction. I gave them a 9-7 record. People had them going 8-8, 7-9. Somebody said 6-10, and somehow I said they're going to make it to the playoffs, but they're not Super Bowl contenders. Now, Carolina Panthers fans went absolutely berserk, and when I mean they went berserk, they went crazy. And I mean, I don't see how the Carolina Panthers can be Super Bowl contenders. I mean, I understand it, but I just think they'll make it to the playoffs, but their division is just so tough. And Carolina Panthers fans, like I understand fans and their arguments, but I hate delusional fans. There's no way possible that the Carolina Panthers are better than the New Orleans Saints. No way. I mean, the season can go either way, but when we look at we have the season hasn't started, so we got to go by everything that we see on paper. On paper, the Carolina Panthers are the third best team in the NFC South, behind the Saints and the Falcons.
And them being behind us not a bad thing because New Orleans Saints is an elite team. The Atlanta Falcons is a dominant, strong team that has the potential to become elite. It's just such a tough division. It's hard to say that they could beat those teams head on and have a better record. If you're going to go with the quarterback, I go with Drew Brees. He's a veteran. He's elite. He brings that team to the next level. You got tomorrow. You got so many weapons on that team that, man, it's really hard to envision the Carolina Panthers beating them. You know, in a sense that, yes, they do have really good quarterbacks in Cam Newton. They got a great, fantastic tight end in Olsen, and obviously their linebacker. But to compete against the New Orleans Saints right now, again, just like Philip Rivers, Drew Brees wants to make it to another Super Bowl. He's not getting any younger, and I can see them just doing whatever it takes to get it this year. And so it'd be really difficult for me to think Carolina Panthers could beat them out. Obviously, fans want to root for their own team, and we all are biased with their own team, and we wish it. But when you have an individual that's not a fan of a specific team, that's just looking at the moves that's made, like yourself, looking at the talent level on each divisional team in that division, you're non-biased because you're not a fan of that team. You're just simply looking at statistics and facts. And so they got to give me a break at some point, man.
Do you know when I did my Miami Dolphins prediction, right? A Miami Dolphins fans literally told me 2-14, wrong, 9-7, and finished second place behind the New England Patriots. Now I'm looking at these guys, right? A Miami Dolphin fan, thinks their team got worse, and they think they're somehow going to make it to the playoffs. And then don't even get me started on Arizona Cardinal fans. Last season, when I did my prediction, I said Arizona's going to go 6-10, miss the playoffs. Arizona Cardinals fans told me 13-3, make the playoffs. And what did they do last season? And then Arizona Cardinals fans are telling me we're going to go 10-6, 9-7, and make the playoffs. You have a rookie coach, a rookie quarterback, a lot of young wide receivers, other than Larry Fitzgerald. But Larry Fitzgerald on a championship team is a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3. And I love Larry Fitzgerald, but that's just being honest. And then their offensive line still sucks. Their defense should keep them in a couple of games. But come on. I think people are going crazy over the Arizona Cardinals. Every time I watch some Arizona Cardinals predictions on YouTube, people are saying they're going to be unpredictable and stuff like that. People talk about Chip Kelly. People forget when Chip Kelly came into the NFL, nobody really seen that Chip Kelly offense before. With Cliff Kingsbury, it's already versions of the air raid offense in the NFL. People just use different versions of it. And plus, Chip Kelly was inhibiting a top 15 roster. He had Jeremy Maclin, he had Jason Avant, he had Deshaun Jackson, he had Michael Vick, who was comeback player of the year a couple of seasons ago. He had a very solid offensive line. The defense wasn't bad, but it wasn't great neither. It was average. So this guy had a top 15 roster and he went to the playoffs that season. So I mean, it's two different situations. You can't really compare Cliff Kingsbury to Chip Kelly. The Arizona Cardinals have arguably the worst roster in the NFL versus Chip Kelly, a guy who's inheriting a top 15 roster. And Chip Kelly wasn't a bad coach. It was just the fact that he failed to adapt his game and adapt the offense to the NFL level because teams were coming up and finding ways to stop that no huddle offense. And that was Chip Kelly's biggest downfall. He couldn't adjust. He couldn't admit that he was wrong and that he somehow had to somewhat adapt some pro style NFL concepts into that offense.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I don't see how Arizona fans can really think that they're going to surprise the NFL much more than getting a couple wins this year. They were the first overall pick for a reason. They have a lack of talent on that team, a lack of depth, a lack of playmakers. Yes, Kyler Murray is a good quarterback, and I think they're going to get better from last year, but that's not saying a whole lot. It's going to take a couple more years. They don't have talent all over the board. Larry Fitzgerald is much older. He's not a number one wide receiver anymore. Folks, if you're an Arizona fan, don't think you're going to get to the playoffs, but enjoy the fact that they could be building something. I mean, you got a franchise quarterback as long as he stays healthy and he's able to develop more and more. And when it comes to Miami, folks, you don't have a lot of talent on that team as well. It was well known before the NFL draft, before they got Josh Rosen, that the team was going to be possibly the first overall pick because the talent all over the team is not well. They don't have depth. They don't have a whole lot of talent. Josh Rosen, I think, is an upgrade from what they have, but again, that's not saying a whole lot. He failed in Arizona simply because there was no talent around him. And again, in Miami, there's a little more talent around him, but that's not saying much because it was depleted as well. So as fans to both those teams, folks, be happy that you do have a bright future as long as these quarterbacks can develop, but don't expect your team's going to make it to the Super Bowl or to the playoffs. Last year, I knew my Lions were not going to be good at all. I knew it was going to be a 6-10 type year, simply looking at the roster and the turnovers that our head coach, Matt Patricia, and Bob Quinn wanted to create. And it's the same situation with you guys in Arizona and Miami. So don't give KC so much hard time for giving them a bad record. He's doing his best to evaluate the talent.
It's crazy because the Arizona Cardinals, their number one wide receiver is Devontae Parker, a bust. And then also, I heard Josh Rosen probably won't even start. Ron Fitzmagic has been balling. On Instagram, this dude had a no-look pass, beautifully thrown to the sideline to Devontae Parker. That's probably Devontae Parker's best play that he's ever made, regular season and practice. Whoa, Parker is not a bust. That's what a lot of people. Let me look up Devontae Parker's stats. Devontae Parker. He. I don't. Miami Dolphins fans, at least what I've heard, a lot of them talking about on the Miami Dolphins channels I've watched, they say he's a bust, and I have to agree because this guy can't really stay on the field. Who was his QB? Ryan Tannehill. I think Miami Dolphins fans gave Ryan Tannehill a little bit too much flack. Ryan Tannehill, he wasn't bad, he wasn't great, but he was solid. This is Devontae Parker's stats over the last couple of seasons. 24 receptions, 309 yards. If you take away that breakout game that he had late in the season, he only had 200, one touchdown. 2017, 57 receptions, 670 receiving yards, one touchdown. 2016, 744 receiving yards, four touchdowns. 2015, 26 receptions, 494 yards, 3 touchdowns. So this guy has only scored 9 touchdowns since he's been drafted.
And you need more than just a wide receiver. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. We had Calvin Johnson for a long time. He's very talented, best wide receiver in the game while he was in there. But it didn't bring us anything more than a playoff appearance. You have to have depth. You have to have talent. A couple blue chippers on the defense, a couple blue chippers on the offense. Great depth and a good. Everything's got to come together. Even a schedule. They got to play against Tom Brady and New England Patriots. Again, I don't see New England taking a big drop off from what they were. They won the Super Bowl last year, so you got to wait a little bit, Miami fans. You'll wait just a little bit. They need to build the roster up, and then maybe at some point in a couple of years they can be competing for playoffs and possible Super Bowls.
Top tier, you must be a top tier. Do you want to come in here and defend your Miami Dolphins? You can do it. You can come in. I will welcome you to defend your Miami Dolphins and Devontae Parker because I think Devontae Parker is a bust. They drafted this guy in the first round and he hasn't even hit double-digit touchdowns yet. And I mean, I hate how people talk about quarterbacks. Let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins. This dude has had 4 or 5 different starting quarterbacks. Still putting up good numbers. I don't really see how people can make that. DeAndre Hopkins has had the worst quarterback situation before Deshaun Watson got there. And even when Deshaun Watson got there, he got hurt. I'm just being honest. Devontae Parker, I'm a Lions fan, just being honest. Devontae Parker has a lot of talent. I always pick up guys in the Devontae Parker category on my fantasy football team. Last year, I picked up Kevin White. I'm going to pick him up this year again, and I'm going to pick up Devontae Parker. But here's the thing. DeAndre Hopkins has had so many trash quarterbacks. And even when Deshaun Watson got there, he still couldn't catch a break because Deshaun Watson tore his ACL that season. He's been through 5, 6 different quarterbacks. So I don't want to hear anything about who was his QBs. You put him there. DeAndre Hopkins had like 5 different QBs, and he's not a number 1 wide receiver, but he's not a bust. Calling it how it is. From everything I read from the Miami Dolphins articles, he has been a bust. But I mean, I'm gonna give him a benefit of a doubt. Hopkins is a different breed, though. But Devontae Parker was drafted in the first round. DeAndre Hopkins wasn't even the first round pick. Devontae Parker was supposed to be what DeAndre Hopkins is. Devontae Parker was supposed to be that different breed.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, elite wide receivers, if you're going to draft one in the first round, they need to be elite. They need to be a Hopkins, a Calvin Johnson, an AJ Green. These type of individuals to take a mid of the round quarterback and bring them to a great staff. And so you get a Julio Jones. That's an elite quarterback, elite wide receiver. He has a good quarterback. So when it comes to taking a wide receiver in the first round, doesn't mean necessarily it's a bust, but you got to have higher expectations than just getting.
Exactly. He's a bust when it comes to not living up to the expectations that he was supposed to live up to.
Yep, absolutely. And again, that's not bad on him personally. The team drafted him. It was not his fault. But you got higher expectations when you go in that first round. Just like we had Eric Ebron, a tight end we had a couple years ago. He left us. We drafted him as top 10 pick. He turned up being a good tight end for Indianapolis Colts, but he's not worthy of being no top 10 pick when you had Aaron Donald there and other players that really changes the team.
Yeah, and I agree. When I was looking at Eric Ebron, I mean, his combine wasn't nothing freakish. Like, he wasn't doing anything like OJ Howard like. OJ Howard, he could be worth a top 10 pick. And OJ Howard, he has probably played up to his first round picking. But Eric Ebron, I mean, the way that he went off for the Indianapolis Colts, he just went off. I don't know. And I don't know what it was with the Detroit Lions. Could he just not mix? Was it Matthew Stafford? Was it the play calling not using it right? Because he went to Indianapolis and just looked like a completely different guy.
Yeah, well, we all know if anyone knows about Lions fans, he's gotten a lot of grief from us because we drafted him above Aaron Donald, and we all know how Aaron Donald could have been with Ndamukong Suh on our defensive line, and Aaron Donald became the best defensive player in all of football, and we got Eric Ebron, who has these high expectations when he was with us, and he dropped a lot of passes. When you're a top 10 pick, you don't do that. So it got in his head, in my personal belief, as well as fans just got tired of him, just like I got tired of him. Then he gets put into a new area, and now he can develop to be a good tight end for sure. Still, he was a bust for us, but he was a good pickup for Indianapolis Colts. Sometimes you just got to get away from a situation to become what you think you can become. And I think Eric Ebron, again, he was a great pickup for Indianapolis, but for us, it was definitely not worthy of a top 10 pick.
Boy, I remember Ndamukong Suh with the Detroit Lions, boy. Ndamukong Suh was nasty, boy. I remember when he walked on Aaron Rodgers. I love Ndamukong Suh. Everybody else hated him, but I love Ndamukong Suh, boy. Ndamukong Suh was nasty. Ndamukong Suh is what you want out of a defensive tackle: nasty, relentless. I loved Ndamukong Suh went back then in those days. Nowadays, I think he kind of got a little bit soft. I mean, he still has that competitive edge, don't get me wrong, but he was a lot more hardcore when he was playing with the Detroit Lions. A lot. You literally, quarterbacks were scared of Ndamukong Suh. I think you got to have that. Ndamukong Suh was scary.
He was too, man, and we never had that when we were Lions fans. We never had a scary defense. When this guy came in, he was scaring fools, knocking them down, intimidating them, and his raw strength and power, plus his nastiness on the field, it scared teams.
Even before, with Nebraska, with Nebraska, I did not know this dude was a Heisman finalist.
Yeah, he was nasty. He was nasty. I remember one game, I think it was the championship game when he was in college. He had like 5 sacks from the quarterback from a defensive tackle. That was just insane type of stats for an interior lineman to knock quarterback down that much.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to call in, you guys will feel free to. But if not, Michael Mike and I can just keep on going if he wants to. Somebody said something about I'm gonna put the phone number in the comment section down below if you guys want to call. But if not, me and Michael Mike can keep going on if he wants to.
Yeah, man. If you're fans from other team and you disagree with JT Sports, or if you have the ability, you want to have a debate, call in, man. He's very warm to a debate. He's not gonna dog you. He's just gonna give you straight facts. And I would love to hear from other fans, especially Arizona fans and Miami. I've never seen those comments on those videos. So if you have a high opinion and you want to get your voice across, call in and talk to the man himself. He's on. He's ready to roll, and he's ready to tell you how he thinks your team is.
MCD Sports 4, my guy, said, "How about the Titans?" See, the Titans are a weird team. The Titans are really scrappy. They're a weird team to predict. That's why when I gave them my prediction, I had them at 8-8. And they're just a weird team to predict because some weeks they're getting blown out, some weeks they're destroying teams that they have no business beating, like the New England Patriots. They're just a weird team. They're like, I'm trying to find a good analogy for it. It's like college football. If the NFL had rankings, it's always that one group of 5 team that always ends up pulling up a big upset over a superior blue blood program, like how Purdue got that win over Ohio State. That's kind of what Tennessee is like. They embrace the underdog role better than what the Eagles do, in my opinion, because this Tennessee Titans team, you cannot sleep on this Tennessee Titans team because this Tennessee Titans team, they're just weird. Some weeks they're terrible, some weeks they're average, and some weeks they're beating teams like the New England Patriots. I just don't know how I feel about the Tennessee Titans. Can they make it to the playoffs? I don't know because that AFC South is going to be pretty tough as well. A lot of teams in that AFC South, they're not. I don't think it's any team in the AFC South that's really going to be competing for the Super Bowl. Maybe the Colts, but really all those teams, in my opinion, are pretty much evenly matched.
Absolutely. In Tennessee, they always fight Indianapolis very hard. Every single time they have a game, you think they're going to lose, they end up beating them. Yeah, Tennessee is like the Jekyll and Hyde team. They're either really good or they're not. I'm a Oregon Ducks fan, so I like Marcus Mariota when he was in Oregon there. And if he can stay healthy, he can be a game changer. He can run around and make special plays, but at the same time, he has the ability to throw some bad passes to get some picks off. And I know they got Ryan Tannehill as their second string quarterback, so I think if Mariota goes down, which he's proven that injuries does affect him, they do have a solid second string quarterback that can fill in. I think it's because Tannehill can run around. He's a very fast guy, as well as Mariota. And it's not a massive drop off if they lost their quarterback for a couple games. I think he could hold it down and help them compete and win a couple games if need be.
Mariota gained weight as well. I think he's at 230 now. So he's trying to stay healthy, and he needs to because this is a contract year for him. A lot of Tennessee Titans fans are kind of split on him, and I would probably say 70% of Tennessee Titans fans they stand up for Marcus Mariota. The other 30% say they should move on. But and the all be all, I mean, he's better than Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston has more talent than Marcus Mariota. But when we just look at the resume, even though Marcus Mariota's stats don't really look that good, I mean, he's won the playoff game, and Jameis Winston hasn't even touched the playoffs yet. And Jameis Winston, that's another guy I want to get into. I'm drafting Jameis Winston. I don't care how many turnovers. I don't care if he's a bust. Jameis Winston is a doggone good fantasy football quarterback just because how aggressive he is. And I mean, he's ultimately boom or bust. You're either going to draft Jameis Winston and he's going to average 20 points per game. And even if he's not, I started Jameis Winston the day that he threw 5 interceptions. This dude went from 20 points to 6 points and still had 6 points. More points than Blake Bortles, who was my backup that week. No, I was playing against a guy who had Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles had negative 0.8 points. Jameis Winston threw 5 picks, still had 6 fantasy points. So Jameis Winston, from a fantasy standpoint, I like Jameis Winston. You can call him a buzz, you can call him whatever, but I'm picking up Jameis Winston. He is an aggressive quarterback, and with Bruce Arians, this was a guy who resurrected Carson Palmer. I don't even think Carson Palmer even got resurrected. Carson Palmer was pretty much trending above average. He's that one quarterback. I'm trying to figure out a good quarterback who's in this predicament. He's like he was nearly, but he wasn't. He was kind of in between. He was on that borderline. He was teetering towards elite, but then he wasn't elite. I'm trying to figure out a good quarterback who I can say. I mean, maybe you could say it's not really a quarterback. Maybe you could say Alex Smith. Alex Smith.
Yeah, man, Jameis Winston. And you know what's good about teams like Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you're looking for a fantasy standpoint, is they have the ability to get a lot of points in jump time because they're behind, and so they're going to make a lot of points. That's actually a strategy I use as well. Like I picked up Marcus Mariota. I'll use him as well for fantasy. And when I know that they're probably going to be behind, there's a great time to have a quarterback to get you a ton of numbers because they could run and they'll a lot of prevent defensively playing against the quarterback, and that's how you crush it in fantasy.
Yeah. And now this is NFL talk. I know it says Super Bowl contenders, but it is NFL talk. You feel free to change the discussion. So we're on fantasy now. Last season, Jameis Winston, I ain't trust him anymore. So I picked up Lamar Jackson. Let me tell you about my quarterback situation. So we did an auction draft. So everybody chose to do the auction draft. So everybody wanted to bid on the players that they wanted and stuff like that. So my craze behind ended up in the first round spending $17 on Tyrod Taylor because look at the talent that he had around him. This Joker gets benched. Well, got a concussion, but I think they just used that to disguise it. Got benched for Baker Mayfield. Then I had Ryan Fitzmagic. Then he ended up falling off. So I had Jameis Winston. I drafted him. I was just waiting for him to come back. But I had Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic didn't work out. Had Jameis for a couple of weeks. Then he ended up getting benched again. Then I picked up Josh Rosen. Don't know why I did that. Had to drop him a week after. He only had like 3 points. Then I had Josh Allen. Then I finally said, you know what? I'm taking Lamar Jackson. Now here, Lamar Jackson saved my fantasy because my fantasy, I tried to be like everybody else, tried to save my money, be conservative, and get all these sleeper players. Like I got Royce Freeman from Denver, all these sleeper guys, Rodney Anderson, when I should have just went ahead and just went aggressive and got the good players because my fantasy team, I do not know how I made it to the playoffs. Had Matt Breida, he was good until he got injured. Lamar Jackson just scared me because Lamar Jackson, the way fantasy points work for Lamar Jackson, it was against the Atlanta Falcons. This dude had 0.6 fantasy points. In the second half, he ended up finishing up having 15. He just scares me because I'd rather have a quarterback that can beat you through the air, even though you get more points when the quarterback runs the ball. It's just Lamar Jackson just scared me, man. He really scared me.
Oh yeah, it's scary from a fantasy point to get an individual that is like that. Yeah, I got lucky last year. I had Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback, so I was racking up the points like crazy. I thought that he would be a great quarterback this year, and so I drafted him in I think it was the 4th round. And I'm like, man, I think this guy is going to do well, and he's really benefiting me and taking me to the championship game.
Dude, when I tell you I was searching that free agency waiver, my best wide receiver was Tyler Boyd. And then every year I draft Josh Gordon. Ever since Josh Gordon got suspended in 2014, 2015, I drafted Josh Gordon. Even if he didn't play, I had to draft my guy, Josh Gordon. 2016, I drafted Josh Gordon as well. 2017, I drafted Josh Gordon, even though he didn't play. And 2018, I still drafted Josh Gordon. And when he got reinstated and went to New England, I knew he was going to be good. Josh Gordon won me a couple of games too. And then I also had Sony Michel as well. And the thing that I hate the most, I would never draft another New England Patriots halfback again. The New England Patriots do not know how to just stick with one freaking running back. They always got to substitute guys because Sony Michel couldn't freaking catch the ball. So on 3rd down, they had to take Sony Michel out. And I'm sitting here yelling at the TV talking about no, don't take him out. Don't take him out. Then when they were playing my Pittsburgh Steelers, I kept on rooting. I was like, don't score. Then Pittsburgh ended up scoring. Then I was like, okay, Josh Gordon, I need you to score another touchdown for me, please. So
it's always a good idea to stay away from running back for the Patriots. If they do a running back by committee, even when they had LeGarrette Blount, they had all the talent in the backfield. If you're relying on a running back from New England, you're going to be in some trouble.
And then last season, I picked up Le'Veon. I'm waiting for Le'Veon Bell to play because I traded Le'Veon Bell. I forgot who I traded him for. And Le'Veon Bell, this man did not play a single game. It made me so mad. And then I had Robbie Anderson. The week I benched Robbie Anderson, he had 31 points, and then that was it. And I mean, I would never ever try to draft another sleeper team again. I've never missed the fantasy football playoffs. I'm about to be in 12th grade. I've been playing fantasy football since I was in since I was in 5th grade. I remember that was my first year playing. I had RG3. Boy, I went 9-7. Somehow made it to the playoffs. Went to the championship that year with RG3. Well, I didn't go 9. I forgot what record I went, but I know I had RG3 on that roster. Boy, that was something, boy. And then this year, this is probably my worst team ever. I do not know how I made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, sometimes it rolls like that. After, I think it was a couple years ago, I drafted Adrian Peterson 1st overall when he was really good, and then he got injured, was out for the whole year, so that was terrible. So it's just important that if you're going to do fantasy football, that you kind of get sleepers out there for advice to others. Like last year, I took Adrian Peterson. I got him as a free agent. And I'm like, man, I think he's got one more year in the tank, and he really helped me get to the championship last year for the Redskins because he did great that season that year, as well as taking an elite back like an Ezekiel Elliott. If you can get one of those first, I think priority for individuals that hasn't played is you try to get individuals that can run the ball, whether it be a quarterback, whether it be a really elite running back, or a wide receiver that's good at yards after the catch. So if you could do that for advice to your subscribers and your fans out there, that's probably the way you'd like to go. That's the way I do it, and I seem to get into the playoffs every year, and either to the championship round last year or just win it all.
Lucy Soto said, fantasy football costs money. I hope not. No, it's not real money. Basically, if you play on ESPN, they have an auction. You can do your standard draft when it's basically like the NFL draft. You just pick players available, or you can do the auction draft. And what the auction draft does, it's not real money, but it's basically you could choose the amount of money you want. Last year, the league I was in with the friends I had at school, everybody got $200. One person spent $100 on Deshaun Watson. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow. But the thing is how I do it, I always go by the I don't go by how good I think the running back is. I go by how good I think the offensive line is. And that's the reason why I picked up James Conner. James Conner was probably the best player on my fantasy because I picked up James Conner because I knew that our offensive line for Pittsburgh was going to be good, and that anybody, not just Le'Veon Bell, could have success behind it. Now, my big issue was if Le'Veon Bell returned, I wanted him to return, but I didn't want him to return. I wanted him to return because, look, God, I drafted you. I want to be able to at least have you do something, not just wasting a pick on you. But then I didn't want him to come back because I didn't want him and James Conner to split carries as well.
Yeah, that's definitely always going by the offensive line. It's such a great way to see how well a running back's going to be. If their offensive line is terrible, probably don't want to pick them up. You're not going to get a whole lot of points. It's very well as having a great running game if you want wide receivers. Because if you have a great running game, play action pass can be utilized very well, and getting those big plays will get you a lot of points for wide receiver standpoint and sometimes quarterback. With that said, man, I have to get off the phone. My phone's dying, and get ready to go to bed here soon. So I want to say thank you for taking my call. And folks, if you're subscribers to JT Sports, call in, man. Talk football.
No problem, man. Thanks for coming on. You guys make sure to subscribe to Micro Mike.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good one.
No problem, man. Take care. Okay, so if anybody else wants to call in, the number is 843-507-0052. Still taking calls. I'm probably going to be going for another hour, so I don't really want to end this stream until 10 because I didn't upload any videos today. So still want to keep this stream going, or at least until my laptop battery dies. My laptop battery is currently at 47%, so we still have enough in the tank taking, more calls. And it's crazy. Thanks for telling me so I can you read more chat? Sure. Let's see. As a Titans fan, I say re-sign him top 15 quarterback. I wouldn't say Marcus Mariota is a top 15 quarterback. He could be in that discussion as a top 15 quarterback, but it's just I don't really know. I don't really know. If anybody else wants to call in, the number is 843-507-0052. I will be putting it in the comment section again. And also, if you are new to the channel, make sure to like the video and subscribe for other NFL videos and NFL content daily. And also the super chat is on if you want to donate and help support the channel. You can also donate to my Cash App or my Patreon. The links to those are down in the description. And also make sure to check out my Instagram page. Link that is also down in the description as well. And here we go. There's a number. Are you hyped for the XFL? I am hyped for the XFL. The reason why I'm hyped for the XFL is because I was really disappointed that the Alliance of American Football League didn't last. And a big reason why I was disappointed the AAF didn't last was because I got it in my intro. I'm surprised somebody has really said anything about it because after the intro, after the logo combines and stuff like that, then it has the subscribe for daily NFL college football videos and the Alliance of American Football videos, but the Alliance of American Football League is no longer anymore. So I mean, it's crazy. But I'm excited for the XFL. I'm interested in seeing the new rule changes. I just love football in general, so I'm a big fan of the XFL. I'm eager to see how can it be good and is it sustainable. And the question with it isn't the money part; it's just the fact of how long will it be around, and can it be something that's going to be profitable. So yeah, I'm hyped for the XFL. So I'm taking a couple of more calls. Number is 843-507-0052 for anybody who wants to call in to the stream. And I've been having a lot of fun. A lot of fun lately. A lot of fun with these streams, man. I'm gonna have to do some more calling shows. I'll probably do one Thursday. What's your favorite team? I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a Steelers fan. Anybody that wants to call in, number is 843-507-0052. So yeah, it's crazy. I'm eager to see what the Cleveland Browns going to do. I really want to talk to Mike about it because the Cleveland Browns, man, they're an interesting team. You got Baker Mayfield, who is the fiery leader, the raw leader. You got Odell Beckham. You got Jarvis Landry. You just have a really emotional team. Who's your favorite XFL? I don't really know. We don't know the XFL teams yet. I don't really think I'm gonna have an XFL team. I didn't even have an AAF team. If I had the AAF team, I probably find myself rooting for the Atlanta Legends a lot. No, the San Antonio Commanders. I think a lot more than I did the any other team. But I think the XFL has a chance to actually be really good. Yeah, man. I'm checking out the live stream. I'm finna share the live stream. See if we can get a couple more people in here. It was live a little bit earlier. We had like 10 people on here. Had 10 people on here. It's crazy. Lucy Soto, are you a Panthers fan? Are you a Panthers fan, Lucy Soto? It's crazy. I think I'm gonna go live on here for a little bit longer. We don't get nobody else in here, then I think I might just go ahead and end this and call it a night. But I'm gonna give it to at least 9 o'clock. The night is still young. It's crazy though. I think the Cleveland Browns, they're a team that I'm really interested in seeing. They got a lot of talent on that team as well. So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. I mean, the Cleveland Browns, you got Jarvis Landry, you got Baker Mayfield, you got Devin Njoku, you got Kareem Hunt, you got Nick Chubb, who is very good. I think Nick Chubb could have had 1,000 yards last season as well. And then their offensive line is pretty solid as well. Their defense, they got Miles Garrett and Olivier Vernon. That's going to be pretty interesting to see. They also got Sheldon Richardson as well at that interior defensive lineman position. I think their biggest weakness is probably going to be their linebacking core. And other than that, they're pretty much strong at every position on the field. Cornerback, I like the Greedy Williams pick. I think that's the biggest steal of this year's draft. He's basically the same player as Denzel Ward. So I think the Cleveland Browns are going to be pretty stacked. And also at that safety position, they got to fill that hole as well. But the Cleveland Browns, they're stacked. They're really stacked. They are really stacked. So, guys, I'm pretty much going to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And I had a blast on this call-in show. I will be back next Sunday to have another call-in show. Hope we have a bit more people than what we had this go around. But thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'm out.